Hello, good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to Digital Learning, Department of Collegiate Education. Myself, P.Ranganayakulu, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Government First Aid College for Women, Tumkur. Today, I would like to explain about the objectives of business law. And the business law is one of the subject for the 6th semester BCom students. And let us see what are the objectives of business law. The objectives of business law includes number 1, the establishment of standards. Number 2, the maintaining of order, which is necessary for a civilized society. And the one more objective of the business law is it resolves the disputes which are allowed for the mitigation of issues that arise between those with the different wants, needs, views and other values. And the one more objective of the business law includes the protecting liberties and rights, which ensures each individual is allowed his or her constitutional rights, including freedom of speech and so forth. And also the other objectives of the business law, which includes it facilitates the industrial growth, and also the business law it protects the interest of the public at large. And let us explain each and every objective of the business law. Number 1, the establishment of standards. So here the business law it establishes some standards. It means, so for all the business establishments or the commercial establishments and for all the businesses regarding the quality standards and which are the standards relating to the quantity and which are prescribed in the particular law relating to the business, what type of the quality is to be maintained by each the business which is going to be manufactured a particular products for the public or for the society, and the standards are which are specified by the law relating to the business, so that every business has to be manufactured, has to provide the services and has to manufacture the goods and according to the standards which are mentioned by the law relating to the business. According to those standards only, the minimum standards which are specified by the law, and according to that standards are to be maintained by each and every business. And if that standards are not maintained by the business and according to the Consumer Protection Act, and if there are some defects in the manufacturing of the goods or in providing of the goods or in any other services, and according to the Consumer Protection Act, the consumer can take the action against the manufacturers or the business peoples. So otherwise, if the standards are not mentioned by the law, and it is very difficult to maintain the quality of the products, and there will be an injustice for the customers, for the society. Therefore, in order to overcome this difficulty and in order to provide the quality of the goods and services to the society, the standards are mentioned by the law. And therefore, all the business people have to manufacture or provide the services to the society according to the standards which are to be mentioned. And if the standards are not followed by any business establishments, and if there is a deviation and between the standards and as well as the actual quality of the products. And therefore at the time if there is some defects and according to a particular act called the Consumer Protection Act, we can take the legal action and we can give the punishment for the businesses or the manufacturers, and we can get some the damages from those industries or the business peoples. So therefore for every activities, all the business activities, for all the business activities, the standards are to be specified, and therefore those standards are mentioned in the business law. They are according to the standards which are prescribed by the law related to the business, and all those products are to be manufactured by the business peoples. So next, number 2, the second objective of the business law, which includes the maintaining of order and which is necessary for a civilized society. And therefore because for the growth of the civilized society, because of the growth of the civilized society, the order which is necessary and the law and order which is the law relating to the or the orders relating to the business establishments which are necessary for a civilized society. If there is no particular order which is not relating to the business, which is not relating to the business, and the peoples will face the so many difficulties, the society will face the difficulties. Therefore in order to overcome all these difficulties, the business law, it maintains the particular orders. You suppose take for example and the MRTP Act, Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act, which is applicable for the business laws, business. And also there are some acts, the Consumer Protection Act, it is applicable, and also the Environment Protection Act, the Sale of Goods Act, and all these acts which are applied for the business. And the order, it is nothing but that the government will give a particular orders for the businesses time to time for the maintenance of the quality of the products, and also provide the quality of the services to the society, and the society will be beneficial, and the society will get the benefit because of the orders which are passed by the government from time to time, and some amendments are to be needed, and that amendments will also be made by the government, and the amendments will be mentioned and will be given for the society. And therefore in order to maintain the order which is necessary for the civilized society, the law relating to the business is very very much important. So therefore this is one of the objectives of the business law. Next, let us come to the one more objective of the business law. The resolving disputes allows for the mitigation of issues that arise between those different wants, needs, views, and values. So with an expectation of some wants, with an expectation of some needs, for to satisfy some needs, and then the consumer is purchases the goods from the business peoples, and wherein if the wants are not satisfied or if the needs are not satisfied, and whatever the with a view of the consumers, and according to their views, if the product is not there at the time, so they can take some action against the business peoples, and automatically some disputes, the civil disputes will be created. And if the disputes are created between the business peoples and also and with the customers, that disputes can be resolved with the help of the law, that business law, because the law, it consists of the set of rules and the principles, and according to that principles, according to the rules, that we can take a legal action against the manufacturers. So therefore general agi, common agi, so the customers, they will expect something, their wants are different from person to the person, and the needs are different, and the views are different, and the values are different, and with an expectation of all these, so they are purchased some goods. ಅಂದರೆ ಇವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ದೇರ್ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ನೀಡ್ಸ್, and if that product is not given the enough satisfaction, and if they are not satisfied with their wants, at the time there is something defects in the products. ಸೊ ಯಾವಾಗಾದರೆ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ, ಸೊ ಅಂಥ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸು, ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ಸು ಯಾರು ಇರ್ತಾರೋ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋಂಥ ಪೀಪಲ್ಸು, ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ in order to overcome that difficulty. There is a right to take the legal action according to the Consumers Protection Act. ಸೊ ಯಾವಾಗಾದರೆ ಅವರು ಲೀಗಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೋ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಸಮ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸೊ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಸು. ಆ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಾವು ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮ್ ಲಾಸ್, ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ because the law which prescribes the rules are the principles, and according to that rules and principles, and we can take the legal action. So therefore, if you take the legal action according to that, then automatically the problems or the disputes can be solved, and we can overcome with the disputes between the business peoples and also with the customers. ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ಸು ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ರೈಸ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಿಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದರ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟು ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್, ದ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್, that in order to overcome that intensity of the disputes, some the law is very very essential, some the rules are very much essential, otherwise that there are the chances of becoming the civil law into the criminal law. So there may be some offenses, and therefore in order to overcome that, the law is very much essential, because it is one of the guide, it consists of the rules and regulations, and it is a guide for the business peoples, not only for the business peoples, even for the all the that is of society. And therefore according to a particular acts we can take the legal action, but in order to take the legal action there should be rights to the consumers, but that rights can be provided by the business law as per the particular acts. There are some acts, according to those acts, and not only that, the business, it deals with the different transactions. You take for example, the business includes the bailment, pledge, and as well as the insurance, banking, and the sales, and as well as the bankruptcy, and foreign exchange, and its management, and agency services, and properties, and as well as the contract acts, and also all these securities, issue of securities, and which are all included in the business. And generally we will deal with the so many transactions, the public ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಥ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಏನಾದರೂ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ಆ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಓವರ್ಕಮ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ನಮಗೆ ಲಾ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತವೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದ securities to the public, either it may be a primary market or the secondary market, and what are the rules which are consisted in the Companies Act for the issue of the securities to the public, maybe a corporate securities or maybe a government securities. And also take for example the business and dealing with the bailment, and also some insurance contracts, and how to enter into the contracts of insurance, and on how to do the transactions with the banking industry, and also how to enter into the contracts some service providing industries, and what type of services are provided by the business peoples, and what is the quality that is to be maintained by the service industries, and which are all necessary for the society. And therefore at the time of obtaining all these services, or at the time of entering into the contracts according to the Indian Contract Act of 1872, and the sale of according to the Sale of Goods Act of buying and selling, and all these which are applicable for the business. And therefore generally business the public will enter into the so many contracts, so many transactions with the business peoples. Therefore, when they are entered into the transactions with the business peoples, they can come with some disputes with the business peoples. But in order to overcome that disputes between the business peoples and the consumers or the public and certain, the reference is required to overcome all these disputes. That reference is nothing but the law, and it consists of the rules and regulations, and according to those rules and regulations we can overcome with the difficulties and as well as the disputes. ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭ ಈಗ ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ಸು, bailment contracts, bailment agreements, so then banking transactions, so then what is called the foreign exchange management, then as well as some the issue of securities. So if you are purchasing the securities, the corporate securities or the government securities, automatically there will be a contract between the issuing company and as well as the purchaser of the securities, maybe a government securities or the private securities or the corporate securities. Automatically, and the person who is invested in those securities with an expectation of something return, good returns, and also there should not be any fake in this. Therefore, if there is something, a loss is happened because of some negligence of the companies or because of some mistakes or the misrepresentation, and automatically there will be a loss will be occur to the investors, and in order to overcome that loss, and he will be approached the court, and the court will provide the justice with the help of the with the reference of the law relating to the business. And therefore the business law relating to the business is very very important, and if it is not there, then there is no any reference to overcome the disputes between the business peoples and as well as the public. Therefore the law is very very essential, and the business law is very very essential in the field of all business establishments, because it is a guide, and we will follow this guide, therefore we can overcome the disputes. Next, it protects the liberties and rights, which ensures each individual is allowed his or her constitutional rights, including freedom of speech and so forth. The Indian Constitution has provided some rights to the human beings, and that the freedom of speech and etc., and all these can be benefited with the help of the business law, because the business law, it protects the liberties, because liberties swatantra, so that is called as, so that liberty is provided for all the peoples by the Indian Constitution, and in order to get the benefit of that liberty is which is provided by the Indian Constitution, the freedom of right, freedom of speech, and therefore that can be benefited by the peoples with the help of the Constitution, Indian Constitution, and that is possible only with the help of the business laws, because the law at the time of formation of the rules and regulations in the business law, they are observed the Indian Constitution, they are followed the Indian Constitution, and with the reference of the Indian Constitution only, the business law is the laws or the regulations or the principles which are framed, and therefore all the business law, it consists of some rights, the constitutional rights which are provided by the Indian Constitution. And if there is no that type of that law, then there will be an injustice for the peoples, and if they are neglected and if they are not followed the Indian Constitution, and the justice will not be, it is not possible to provide the justice for the peoples in the society. Therefore, in order to overcome all these, that to use the constitutional rights properly by the human beings, that is provided by the Indian Constitution, that is very very important, because the time of framing the laws relating to the business, they are referred the Indian constitutional rights which are provided by the Indian Constitution to the general public. So that is called as including freedom of speech and as well as so forth. Next, the one more objective of the business law, which includes to facilitate industrial growth. So along with the other sectors of the economy, that is agriculture sector, service sector, the economic growth is possible with the help of the business law. And here, what is the link between the business law and as well as the industrial growth? How the industrial growth is possible with the help of the business law? So here, the industrial growth can be observed. The industrial growth in the sense the generation of the more and more employment, more and more income to the peoples, that is possible with the help of the business laws. So therefore, business law, it consists of the rules, and according to those rules, if any business establishment is established automatically, then that business can be continued for a long time, and if that business is continued for a long time, automatically some branches will be created by the business industries. If the new branches are created by the business industry, automatically it indicates that there is a growth of industries, and if there is a growth of industries, then if there is a industrial growth, then definitely there will be a economic development, and the economic development can be observed with the help of the industrial growth, and there will be a more and more employment generation to the people. And if there is an employment generation wherein we can easily observe the income generation, if there is a more and more income generation, and it is a good sign for the economic development of the country, economic development of the peoples. Therefore, if there is a more and more business establishments, and if you assume that if there is no business law, if there is no law relating to the business, and between the society and the industries, between the society and business, if some disputes are created, and if there is no involvement of the business law, and there are the chances of the closure of those industries, there are the possibilities to shelter those industries. If they raise the possibility for the closure of those industries, if that industries are closed, if the businesses are closed, and there is a loss of employment, there is a loss of income to the people, and there will not be economic development, there will not be, because of, if there will not be any economic development because of the close of all the business establishment. Therefore, if there is the business law, and if because of that business law, it helps a lot to all the businesses and for all the industries in the country for the continuation of their businesses. So therefore, the industrial growth is possible, the industrial development is possible. Say for example, the localization of industries, that is possible, and there are some laws which specifies and for a particular businesses to be established in a particular area only. Take for example, there are industrial hubs, there are some industrial estates, there are some special economic zones. So there is a law, separate law relating to those, and for the establishment of small and medium scale industries, and they are to be established in a particular industrial areas only. Take for example the special economic zones, and the rules, business rules which are applicable for all the industries in the other parts of the country is not applicable for the special economic zones. The rules of business are different for the special economic zones. So therefore, with the help of the business law, and we can expect some industrial growth, because how the industrial growth is possible because of the law relating to the business. It is a question for us. Yes, it is possible if there is any involvement of the law relating to the business, when there is a disputes between the industries and government, the industries and the public, and the industries and the investors, automatically the law will solve or the resolve those that disputes between the government and the industry, between the industry and the investors, between the industries and the general public, automatically that industries is not possible to be closed. It will be continued for a long time, and we can get some the employment generation, and also there will not be any loss of employment. That is possible because of the business law. And here lastly we can observe one of the objective of the business law, that is it protects the interest of public at large. So therefore because of the business law there will be the interest of public. So how the business law will provide the will protect the interest of public at large, in the sense the public, there to the public there is no any fear of, there will not there is no any fear of loss or any damages or any injury from the business peoples. If it is happened, automatically that can overcome with the help of the law relating to the different acts, example Consumer Protection Act, etc. There are some acts which are applicable for the businesses, and with the help of all these laws that the public can obtain the benefit or the justice from the occurring of some loss to the public. So therefore it protects the interest of public at large. So therefore the protection of the interest of public is very important, and is very important to the nation. That is possible with some acts, with some laws, and among those laws the business law will also be helped a lot to the protection of the interest of the public at large, and that there is a great protection, there is a great protection for the peoples in the society that is possible with the help of business laws. So these are the objectives of business laws. So there are so many objectives, and among the all other objectives, the first and foremost important objective is the establishment of standards, and the second objective is maintaining the order which is necessary for a civilized society, and also the one more objective is it resolves the disputes which allows for the mitigation of issues that arise between those with the different wants, needs, views and or values. And the one more objective of the business law is it protects the liberties and rights which ensures each individual is allowed his or her constitutional rights, including freedom of speech and so forth. And also the last two objectives of the business law, it facilitates the industrial growth, and also it protects the interest of the public at large. Thank you for listening this video.